Hey there! Welcome back to Reddit Dating, best channel for cheating stories. Make sure to like and subscribe the channel for more spicy stories.
I went through my wife's phone because I had a hunch and I was correct. It's also my birthday. I never expected to be blogging here, yet here I am. My wife has always pretended to friends and family that we don't check into each other's phones because we trust one another. What a load of nonsense it was. She arrived home last night about 10 p.m., drunk as hell, and passed the hell out. I had been suspicious recently since she had been wandering nude from the bedroom to the bathroom and vice versa a lot more than normal. That isn't remarkable in and of itself, but she was also avoiding me and giving me weird glances while doing so. I knew she wouldn't wake up on her own for hours if she passed out while being pounded. I took advantage of the chance to say forget it and scratch this itch that had been gnawing at me, so I swiped her phone from her bag. I opened it and immediately went to Snapchat. Okay, she's been chatting to a man, but there's still no proof. Then I checked her texts to see whether she'd been messaging her dad, her stepfather, since she was 2 years old and all the way through her adolescence. He's been known to demand nudity from her in exchange for money, and she's been known to agree, although this was before I knew her. All texts were erased from 1:24 p.m. that day to 10 p.m. that night. At 1:24 p.m., her dad texted her, "Dang, seems like it's ready for Junior." Then she texted him, "Yes it is," to which he replied, "Well, I'm going to have to go rub one out." The remainder of the texts were her drunken pleas for money, since she had racked up a $300 tab at the unofficial Christmas party. This didn't seem right, so I went to her photographs and found nothing until I went to deleted pictures. At 1:22 p.m., I noticed a photo of her on our sofa flashing her. I was just in the next room. Pretend it's not true, say it didn't happen, just to discover it's worse. Every day for the previous 30 days, I saw many graphic photos of her. The deleted file only holds pictures for 30 days. Keep in mind that I haven't gotten images from her in months, and when I have, they have never been as graphic as these. Then I noticed 2 naked photos of a man our age who lives in our area, as well as 2 naked photos of her shot about the same time. I knew his girlfriend but not him, so I quickly sent his images to her and informed her what had transpired. I snapped photographs of everything, and I mean everything, on my phone and proceeded to face my wife with her phone. She was mumbling and denying everything, but as she was denying, she was simultaneously removing evidence from her phone. I went from our home to my mother's house, which is on the same land. I spent my day playing with our 3-year-old daughter, fretting about what was going to happen, until I received a text from my wife at 2 a.m., just after my daughter had gone to sleep. Yes, my daughter has a messed up sleeping pattern, and yes, we're working on it. Also, because of work, my wife seldom sees our kid, and even when she does, she doesn't spend much time with her, stating we need to discuss. I went home thinking only about divorce. She begged and pleaded with me, stating she was becoming like her mother, who suffers from bipolar illness and a few other diseases. I've observed my wife gradually developing the same issues, but not quite as severe. Her mother was likewise a screwed-up parent who really messed my wife up in the brain, though she was skilled at concealing it most of the time. She said that she just wanted the attention, and that it was all about the images. She started cursing herself, weeping, and begging me not to leave her. I'm not sure whether I can believe what she's saying, but nothing had changed except the strange nakedness, and she had still been treating me with all of the love in the world. But, if she loved me, why would she email nudes to other guys, particularly her dreadful dad? She also said that she didn't get paid for any of it, and that she was just doing it for attention. I treat her like a queen, so she gets plenty of attention at home, and my drive is way higher than hers too. I have to think about my daughter here, because if I divorce my wife, she'll probably get the short end of the stick when it comes to custody here in Texas. They always seem to side with the mother unless they're on drugs, and she'll probably move in with her mother and her husband, which would severely disrupt my child's life. Also, her dad owns her mom's/home, husband's, and he put it a rule years ago that I am not permitted over there under any circumstances, since he was envious and wanted her, or he would force them out. I know she loves me, and I can see she's sincere in her apologies, but I can't guarantee she won't do it again. I had her block her dad and the F***K boy, and made it clear that if she ever contacted either of them again, or sent nudes to another guy, I'd file for divorce right away. She thinks I'm giving her another opportunity. I discovered her doing similar shady like 2 months into our relationship before we were married, but I'm still on the fence about it all and don't know what to do. My primary worry here is my kid. Furthermore, we both have solid jobs, so money isn't a problem. I've done nothing except adore her, and I've been hoping for the same for a long time. So here we are at 11 a.m., practically on my birthday, and I couldn't sleep the night before, so I'm still up and have been for almost 24 hours. I'm not exhausted either, I simply can't sleep any longer. She didn't sleep either after our conversation, and I can see it's upsetting her, yet, it didn't stop her from going to have her hair done. I'd want to wish you a very happy birthday. Sorry for the lengthy article, there's a lot to untangle here, and there's a lot more to this, but I'm not writing a book here. Story number 2. My wife and a co-worker. My ex-girlfriend and I met in college. She was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen. She was usually followed by a swarm of boys. I took a few courses with her over the course of 4 years, but I never pursued her because, well, all the other men. After class one day, she asked if I wanted to study with her, and the rest is history. So we tied the knot. We began our careers in the same field, but with separate businesses. An industry dominated by men. While she struggled, I had rapid success. During her first year, she changed jobs. She persisted in her battle. She got pregnant with our first child in her 3rd year. She worked her way through the pregnancy. During a normal checkup a few weeks after giving birth, her doctor requested a cervix biopsy. Precancerous cells were discovered in the findings. The doctor recommended us to have additional children as soon as possible since this condition would worsen, and a hysterectomy would be required eventually. So, when she felt like it, she became pregnant again. Within a year of each other, she gave birth to another son. Following that, further tests were performed, and many doctors recommended us to proceed with the treatment right away since we could not afford to wait. She had her operation done when her 2 kids were still newborns. She was devastated that she was no longer able to have children, as we had hoped for a big family. She devoted herself to becoming a wonderful mother, and she succeeded. She became a stay-at-home mom. She was responsible for everything at home. Meanwhile, my career was progressing. I was offered a job with another firm with a significant wage increase. Life is wonderful. When the boys started to school, she volunteered and became a regular there. I should explain that we went to school with close buddies. B and A. We saw each other a lot. They had their first child around the same time we did. They have 1 child. We went on vacations, dinners, and trips as a family, and we were the best of friends. A, the mother, returned to work after the birth of her son and is now quite successful. B had a decent employment as well until about 2001, when it was discontinued. He struggled to find employment in his industry since the economy was so bad at the time. As they did not want to relocate, it was decided that he would work as a SAHD while hunting for job where we resided. The X and B did activities with children together. Even while the kids were all in school, they hung together. You can probably infer they had an affair now. I realize this narrative is lengthy, but it is not over. After almost a year of amazing in the morning, B asked X whether she and I had ever discussed we were still enjoying a terrific, if not slowing down, connection, so it was all fantasy chat. B wanted to invite a buddy into the bedroom with them. The X concurred. The day arrived, and this person, C, arrived at B's residence. He removed his suit while X and B warmed up. So they had their trio. Following that, the man informed them that he was used to having to pay for, so he left a few $100 and asked X if he could have a one-on-one with X. She said that she needed to think about it, and that B would get back to him. C eventually suggested someone else, and a company was established. B was eventually re-employed and had to leave X alone. She dialed a different phone number. She leased a storage container and converted it into a closet/office. She spent the money on clothing that her clients had asked. She even purchased a vehicle since she didn't want her minivan to be seen at a hotel. The boys had to pay for a decent hotel room. She stored the automobile in a storage facility. Everything was paid for in cash. I'm not aware of her ever bringing money into our life. During the summer, though, we would send the children to various day camps. She said she cut our budget to pay for it. She only worked throughout the school day. She was frequently picking up the boys from school. B would pick them up and keep them till she arrived home on a few rare occasions. Our family life was never jeopardized. I confess that I was working a lot and climbing the corporate ladder. The weekends were reserved for our family. Because of my job schedule, I believed it was ideal to have on weekends. Most evenings, we'd snuggle on the sofa and watch TV. When everything is completed, the year 2016 arrives. We have 2 sons, one in college and the other a senior in high school. I get a phone call from B. X has been admitted to the hospital. He was ambiguous, but he did say she was in a lot of pain. I hurry to the hospital, where my wife is up to a slew of machinery. They've already cleaned her up and taken X-rays of her. She has a broken jaw, a broken nose, an orbital bone fracture, and a potential concussion. She will make it, but it will be a long journey. A police officer finished his work and departed. Of course, I'm curious about what occurred. Through her sobbing and pain medicines, she was screaming and speaking gibberish. A nurse advised me to let her relax. They were about to put her in a room. She gave me a bag containing her clothing. I peered inside and inquired if they were hers since she never wears heels, and the outfit was odd to me. According to the nurse, this is what they brought from the hotel room. As a result, they shoved me out of the room. I contacted my boys to inform them. Later that night, when the effects of the pills began to wear off, I was able to piece together part of the tale. She faded away once more. I had my youngest kid fill in for her, and I dialed B. What made him call me? How did he know about it before I did? What exactly is going on? So B told me what my wife was up to, omitting the adultery and his role. I was heartbroken. We ultimately get her home after she had jaw surgery. The nose would be patient. She recovered at home. As she became stronger, I learned the whole tale. I phoned A and informed her about the affair, as well as B's status as a pimp. B was thrown out. I informed her we were done as she stood up. I asked her to go. She relocated to B's house. I started the divorce process. I've been divorced for 5 years. I still have feelings for her. It's as if she'd passed away. The pain of bereavement is overwhelming. My sons are aware of what she did. I haven't heard from her since she departed.